Audience. Audience, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and the playing of the national anthem. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good afternoon, and welcome to today's Class of 2019 graduation ceremony. I would like to acknowledge our school board for their continued support to our school district, our high school administration, faculty, especially Mrs. Webster, Mr. LaRusso, and Mrs. DeVincentis, and our maintenance staff for making all of the preparations and preparing our school and campus for today's ceremony. Class of 2019, thank you for the opportunity to be a part of your special day. Today is about our graduates, but it's also a special day for our parents, guardians, and close family and friends of this graduating class. We all know the sacrifices parents and families make so their child can reach milestones in life. And with that, I'd like to congratulate the parents of these students on stage for all the love and support you've provided them throughout their school careers. Class of 2019, let's give your parents, guardians, and family members a round of applause. As I began to prepare my remarks for today, I took some time to reflect on this year's senior class. For me, this is unique because I've had the opportunity to know them for many years. Starting with what I think is unique with having a set of triplets on stage today. Being their neighbor when they were very young at a young age and seeing them as graduating seniors is pretty cool. The rest of the seniors before us today were in first grade when I became their elementary principal. It is really neat to have the opportunity to see them at ages 7, 8, 9, and 10, and then watch how they have grown into seniors we see before us today. During the 4 years these students have gone through our high school, they have been leaders to our underclassmen, they have been charitable, have achieved high academic standards on SAT and AP exams, have been key members of our band, chorus, art, and drama programs, have led our athletic teams to championship seasons, 5 of them coming just this school year. Many individuals have been recognized as league all-stars in all region. One student, Adam Rowe, this past Thursday at Susquehanna County Career and Technology Center's graduation, was recognized as the SCCTC Senior of the Year. I could go on, but as you can see what I have shared, this graduating class has represented Blue Ridge at a very high level in many ways over the past 4 years. As I move on from sharing about the time I've gotten to know all of you and highlighting a few of your achievements, I want to share a message with you that I feel is important as you move on to the next chapter in life. First, each of you will be heading off into different directions: 4 or 2-year college path, trade school, military, or workforce. But I ask that each of you, no matter your career path, take actions to just treat people in a kind and caring way, and don't let others' negative actions drive you into a negative direction. A few weeks ago, a video created by Mir K, an American internet personality, best known for his vlogs on YouTube, was shared with me. At first, I reflected on the video and how the message impacted me in my role as a school administrator. But I felt this story was unique and beneficial to our graduating students to hear. The title of the video was "People Are Like Garbage Trucks." In the video, a cab driver named Tommy asked his passenger, Mir K, almost had an accident with another driver in another vehicle. The other driver approached Tommy with some road rage, and Tommy just sat there, listened, smiled, and waved. Mr. K said, "How can you stay so calm?" And Tommy, the cab driver, responded with, "People are like garbage trucks. People in our world today run around with lots of garbage, full of disappointment, full of frustration, full of anger, and when their garbage piles up, they need a place to dump it. Sometimes they dump it on you. So don't take it personal. Just wave, smile, wish them well, and move on. Don't let their garbage spread to the people you work with, and especially to your family at home. You love those who treat you right and pray for those who don't. Life is 10% of what you make it, and the other 90% is how you take it." I felt this story shares a message each of you can take with you today as you move on to the next chapter in life. Don't let others' negative actions impact your path in life. I challenge you to follow Tommy's words. When someone dumps their garbage on you, just wave, smile, wish them well, and continue on the path you have set to establish your goals in life. As I conclude, I always like to share something I've shared in the past to graduates, and that is, as a former Blue Ridge graduate, I can assure you that throughout the last 24 years since I graduated, I have faced many challenges life can throw at you. But I was prepared to handle each challenge thrown my way because I was fortunate to be raised and educated here in the Blue Ridge community. With that, I would ask each of you to take advantage of every opportunity that comes your way. But while doing so, take the time to find a way to give back to whatever community you become a part of. To simply say it, don't always be a taker in life. Take the time to be a giver in life too. As boxing legend Muhammad Ali once stated, service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth. Good luck. I wish you the best with your next adventure in life. Have a safe summer and enjoy the memories of today with your family and friends. Thank you. At this time, I would like to introduce Megan Sommer, 2019 Senior Class President, and Kayleen Conklin, incoming 2020 Senior Class Vice President, to conduct the presentation of the mantle ceremony.
As your class follows ours into the senior year, you must seek truth, which leads to the understanding you need for a useful life. Be loyal to your class, your school, and your community. The return of your loyalty will surely enrich your life. Be responsible for your own actions so that those younger may see your example and be themselves influenced toward responsibility. Above all, practice service to your family, community, school, and church. It is through service that we reach toward the highest ideals of humanity. We freely offer this mantle to you with the hope that you will accept the charge that goes with it.
I am accepting this mantle on behalf of all of the members of my class. In doing so, I understand that the charge you have given to us is a very exacting one. It is my hope that we will be able to pass this on to the succeeding class, knowing that we have lived up to the obligations which it represents. On behalf of my class, I offer congratulations to your class, along with our hopes for happy and successful lives for all of you. Congratulations.
Take this one. Please welcome Louis Tobon with the salutatorian address.
Good afternoon, friends, family, and faculty, and thank you for being present for the class of 2019's graduation ceremony. My name is Louis Tobon, and I'm the salutatorian of our class. Admittedly, I was nervous when drafting the speech. In fact, the speech wasn't completed up until very recently. Not because I put it off, but rather I was worried. Worried because this day isn't just our day. It's also your day too, and I wanted to get that right. I took my time searching for inspiration, and according to online sources, there's a defined job of the salutatorian, which is to speak on behalf of the graduating class and welcoming friends, family, and other loved ones to the ceremony. They introduce any other speakers and representatives to the audience, offering a few remarks to kick off the graduation ceremony, with their speech commemorating the celebration of the moment. So with hope, today will be right. I would first and foremost like to congratulate my class on achieving such a milestone in their lives. Graduates, it's been a long 13 years with most of you. There's a lot of stories I could share today, but due to time constraints and children being present, I won't. But what I will say is thank you. It might just be Raider pride when I say this, but I truly believe that Blue Ridge is one of the best schools in the region. Throughout our academic career, we were always made aware of how fortunate we were as students to be blessed with such a welcoming community. Most of the adults would often share stories of their ordeals they faced when growing up, which was a stark difference to the environment that we lived in. We always made our best effort to support each other, welcoming new additions to our school and lending a helping hand when able. Over the years, it's simply become our culture, and in retrospect, something completely unique to us. I'm glad to have been a part of it. It's been an honor to be with all of you. Some of us held our differences, but for the most part, we were somewhat reminiscent of a family. At times dysfunctional, but nonetheless a fine display. A majority of us met back on August 28th, 2006. Since then, we've had some students come and go, and we witnessed how we changed over time. Knowing each other by name and personality, we saw each other turn from toddler to adult, something also unique to us. Because of that, I was able to make a few close friends. But I had a certain friend. And this friend, although pretty quiet, had always been there to support and encourage me. I consider them to be one of the best people I've ever had the pleasure of knowing, as well as being my oldest friend. In fact, we met on the first day of kindergarten, and we've been great friends ever since. But the reason I bring this one up in specific is due to the nature of this relationship. What makes this one special is the fact that you'll be hearing from him next. I firmly believe that if it wasn't for this person, I would not be standing here today. I know that's a very bold statement to make, but knowing myself, I wouldn't have pushed myself as far as I did. It wasn't a rivalry between us, far from it. We always tried to help each other for the better, and though neither of us were keen on giving speeches, there's no one I'd rather come in second place to, because he's earned it. Continuing the original topic, over the course of many years, I've had the opportunity to know these people, and though this may sound strange, I actually like being around them. I made some close friends who helped me realize a few recurring themes in my life, namely one being family. At some point in life, everyone faces an internal or external crisis. Whatever the struggle may be, it is known that the result can prove quite toxic. But in my experience, having good friends and knowing good people is perhaps the best remedy. The more we isolate ourselves from the people that care, the worse we become. And the people that care about you the most are your family, whether by blood or covenant. Your family, your real family, cares about you, even if they don't understand or agree. They're the people you rely on, the people who influence you, and the people who love you. Don't throw that away. Another important thing that I've learned is to swallow pride and own up to mistakes. We judge ourselves based on our actions and ourselves on intention. That's why we don't start off as wrong in an argument, and there are a few ways that can end. There are those who will admit defeat and accept it with humility, and in return gain something far more precious, respect. And on the contrary, there are people with too much pride and as a result sacrifice their dignity. Dealing with such individuals proved to be more or less difficult and makes everyone uncomfortable. Please be mindful and know when to let go. We learn through best of mistakes, and we can't grow if we don't accept them for what they are. So own up to it. And the final, most important piece of my fortune cookie wisdom, underclassmen, adults, and fellow graduates, today might be the last time some of us ever see each other again. Whether that's really a good thing depends, because that's scary to me. We worked hard to get to this point and put up with a lot. So let today be a good day. A day to look back and smile. We're graduating, about to venture into the world and start our lives. Enjoy the present and live now, because the past is gone and the future has yet to exist. I wish the best of luck to my former classmates. May you all be successful in your future endeavors. Thank you. Okay. And please welcome Daniel Trini as class valedictorian.
As I was preparing to speak here today, I decided to watch some other graduation speech videos online, and there was one common theme that I found in all of them. They were all more enjoyable when played back at double speed. Hopefully, I will not meet that same fate today, To start, I would like to thank all of the people who have made our high school experience possible, especially those working in the background who aren't often seen enough to give credit. This includes the administration, maintenance, information technology, and cafeteria staff, all of whom work hard to keep this institution running properly. I also thank my parents and family for their continuous support and encouragement, especially my sister, in the front row, Danielle Tierney, for the critical input on my assignments and projects, including the original drafts of this speech. I know that many of my classmates feel the same way about their families. Further, thank you to the teachers who have dedicated their lives to enlightening and empowering students with knowledge, and it doesn't end there. The impact of your character goes beyond the classroom. You have influenced our development and the direction of our lives. Many of these teachers have had to put up with our shenanigans for multiple years, sometimes multiple periods per day, and they still choose to teach. When our principal, Mrs. Webster, was a student at Blue Ridge, her class blocked the doors with tractors and bales of hay for senior prank day. Since then, the access to farm equipment for students has sadly declined. But improvise, adapt, and overcome. Nowadays, there are many more AP courses offered at Blue Ridge. Naturally, senior pranks have evolved as well. Our AP computer science teacher, Mr. Sokolowski, would never be let down to hear that an anonymous student's programming skills successfully resulted in a surprise appearance from Rick Astley in Mrs. Davenport's Period 3 English class. His words were so empowering that I could feel them down the hall. Mrs. Davenport, wherever you are right now, I just wanted to say, never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down. And to all of the teachers, I know that this class won't let anyone down after all of the hours you have put into preparing us for the world. I'd also like to thank my fellow classmates for the environment that they have created. Blue Ridge is a small school. Most of us have known the names of every one of our classmates for a decade, and we are used to seeing the same faces in hallways and in classes. This environment has improved my performance here because I feel more comfortable around the people that I know, which helps me focus on my education. I shake a little bit less each time I speak in front of you. Blue Ridge feels like home because of all the people that I know here. It is a warm, friendly environment, except for the mornings after winter break, in which case it was so cold that I had difficulty writing my FRQs in macroeconomics. At this moment, as we prepare to take our first steps into the real world, none of us know where our final destination will be. None of us know what the path to that destination looks like. I'm sure that a majority of you don't have much of an idea as to where you would like to end up. But ultimately, it is important to note that there is no perfect road to success, especially in Pennsylvania, where the potholes swallow entire wheels and drag your bumper across the ground. Everyone is going to face challenges and failures at some point. No matter how much we try to prevent them, there is a lot out of our control. However, it is not the number or nature of the adversaries we face that determine where we go, but it is the response to them. Singer, TV host, actor, and businessman Jimmy Dean once said, "I can't change the direction of the wind, but I can adjust my sails to always reach my destination." When something interrupts our original routine, being stubborn and refusing to change does not get us back on track. Imagine being on a drive in the country only to find that your map is out of date and that the area has changed significantly since it was drafted. One option would be to follow the obsolete map anyways. You might just end up driving into a river. Alternatively, adapt to the situation. Embrace changes that cannot be prevented. Apply some of your own intuition and say, the bridge that was here is missing and maybe I shouldn't be driving a car where it was. They might be disliked at first, but obstacles have the potential to make us better people. Rather than refusing them, Facing challenges with an open mind makes all the difference in whether they lead to more failure or contribute to success. 6 years ago, I joined the cross-country team because I liked running. That was a rather bold yet vague statement to be making at the time because, well, cross-country does involve running. It was running like I had never experienced before. My first season did not conclude with as much enthusiasm as it began. Never did I want to quit, but it wasn't exactly pleasant. This past season, however, I managed to place well enough to receive a medal at the district championship. Not only did my performance improve since the beginning, but my outlook on running changed entirely. At this point, I'm not competing anymore, but I still enjoy running to clear my mind and improve my focus. In the beginning, such an outcome wasn't ever considered, but by persisting through something that wasn't particularly enjoyable, it became an important part of the person I am now. Open-mindedness also helped George de Mistral, a Swiss engineer, to invent the hook and loop fastener, better known as Velcro. After walking his dog, Mistral found burdock burrs attached to his clothing and his dog's fur. Instead of passing them off as a nuisance, Mistral was curious as to how they could attach so effectively. He used a microscope to observe tiny hooks on the burrs, which could easily attach to the looped texture of fur and cotton. When viewed with an open mind, there is much to be learned from temporary challenges or inconveniences, and they just might lead to a life-changing discovery. Nevertheless, expect your destination to change along the way. There is nothing wrong with transforming your plans if something different appears to be working better. While he was working on a magnetron-related radar project, Percy Spencer noticed that standing in front of the machine melted the chocolate bar in his back pocket. Curious, Spencer tested the effect of the magnetron on other foods, such as a popcorn kernel, which produced the first microwave popcorn. It also made an egg explode in an associate's face. Spencer's discovery led to the development of the microwave oven, a result that he never expected to see while working on a military radar project. His accomplishment indicates how unexpected findings can change the course of our lives for the better. Graduates, all of us have chosen to follow the path that we think is the right one for us. However, that may change in the future. None of us are perfect, and there's no perfect road to success. In the real world, there will be unique experiences, unforeseen difficulties, and new discoveries. There will be times that we really enjoy. When faced with change in an uncomfortable way, improvise, adapt, and overcome. Where we end up is not determined by the hardships that we encounter, but it is the way that we embrace them. Friends and former classmates, I wish all of you the best luck in your future endeavors, and I hope all of you find the road to your own happiness. At this time, I would like to welcome Mrs. Jess and Mrs. Davenport as this year's keynote speakers.
Just checking. Welcome, board members, administrators, parents, friends, and most of all, you, the 2019 graduates of Blue Ridge. You can imagine our surprise when students approached us and asked if we would give the keynote speech as a collaborative effort. We wanted to say yes because we really like these students, we really like this class, and because we care about these students. We've had them for quite a few years. But in the same token, we wanted to say no because the idea was so foreign to us to do a speech collaboratively that's very unconventional. So we decided to go ahead and do it. And we couldn't figure out exactly how this was going to go, so we thought about all of the times that we have asked students to work collaboratively, whether it be with a partner or whether it be in small group. So every time the students would say, "How are we supposed to do this?" we would simply turn around and say, "You can do this." And then they'd give us a look, and we'd still say, "You can do this." So we took it upon ourselves, and here we are.
So, Mrs. Jess is a Spanish teacher and I teach English. So words are very important to us. So today, our message is really one from the heart, but we want to talk to you about words and the power they hold. More specifically, we want to talk to you about the power you have with the use of words. If you don't think your words can be powerful, consider this. Patrick Henry uttered the words, "Give me liberty or give me death," and an entire nation was born. Hitler said, "A religious community was an unacceptable race," and put members of that religion in concentration camps. His words brought the entire world to its knees. Martin Luther King said, "I have a dream." And his words changed the very fiber of our country and the way we elect our president. John F. Kennedy said, "We choose to go to the moon." And NASA sent an astronaut to outer space. Thomas Jefferson wrote the words, "We the people," and a document known as the U.S. Constitution was created. And those words are the basis for every law in our country. Words, they have energy, they have power, they have the ability to help, to heal, to hinder, to hurt, to harm, and to humble. And they have the ability to express the feelings of one's heart. Poet Jimmy Santiago Baca says, when he speaks words, he imagines they contain who he is as a person.
Oftentimes, we hear people using unflattering words throughout their daily conversations. Words that would have literally shocked our grandmothers in their day. And it's become a norm in our society to use such words. The current reaction to this sort of verbiage is really one of indifference. These words even make it into Webster's dictionary because of the national and global use. I recall my mother-in-law years ago using the word ugly. And at first I believed that she was talking about someone's physical appearance. But in actuality, she was talking about someone's personality. And you might think, what does this have to do with this speech? The reason I say this is because the language, the significance of words changes from one person to another, but it also changes from one era to another. Mrs. Davenport and I recently chaperoned the senior trip to Ocean City, Maryland. We had a great time, by the way. We heard quite a variety of language while we were on this trip from people we know and those who we didn't know. As teachers of language, we have spent many years learning the nuances of discourse, as well as proper language, whether it's from the standpoint of grammar or etiquette. While learning the nuances of language is important, realizing the impact of words may be even more pertinent.
Words are so powerful because of how we define them, the connotations that come with them, and because often the words we use become the way people define us. That is because the words we speak can create a lasting impression, good or bad. We, Mrs. Jess and I, we hope that you will define yourselves with words that empower others and empower yourselves.
For those of you leaving the area, take note of the words that are used in your new environment. Words that we use in our Blue Ridge community may differ in connotation. Colloquialisms differ from one area to another. You will meet new people in college, at work, or in the military from diverse walks of life. Your words, their words, will impact those around you in many respects. Consider how you feel about these words and honestly ask yourself, what impact did certain words have on you? Did they make you feel good or did they make you feel bad? Care about your words and be careful how you use them. Once they are said, they can be forgiven, but really not so much forgotten. Words can give birth to a nation or bring the world down. They may be free, but how you use them may cost you everything you know or change your life for the better. Words can change the moment, the day, and even the lives of future generations. They can touch the soul. With words, you have great power. Use that power wisely.
In closing, we leave you with these words of wisdom from some pretty wise people.
Dr. Seuss. Be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind.
Ingrid Bengus. For me, words are a form of action capable of influencing change.
Edward Thorndike. Colors fade, temples crumble, empires fall, but wise words endure.
Maya Angelou. I've learned that people will forget what you said. They will forget what you did, but they will never forget the way your words made them feel.
Nelson Mandela. If you talk to a man in a language he understands, it goes to his head. If you talk to him in his language, it goes to his heart.
Albus Dumbledore. Words are, in my not so humble opinion, our most inexhaustible source of magic, capable of inflicting injury and remedying it. Words, they can make us or break us.
Class of 2019, from the bottom of our hearts, our words to you.
It has been a pleasure and an honor to teach you and to know you.
Enjoy the next chapter in your book of life and speak every word with enthusiasm and courage.
As you have here at Blue Ridge, Mrs. Jess and I wish you the best.
Congratulations. Next, we would like to present Mr. Christopher Lewis with the board president's remarks. Mr. Lewis.
Good afternoon. I just want to say to Lewis, I was the same way when it comes to the speech. I want it perfect as well. So I made changes this morning. So when you said soon, I was the same way. So good afternoon and welcome to our parents, grandparents, families, and friends. Before I do get into my speech, I'd like to take a few moments to remember somebody here from our community who served this district for many years and probably even decades. If you ever came up to an event here at Blue Ridge, then you were bound to run into our security guard, Nate Miller. He was a man who was never, and I stress never, afraid to tell you what he thought, whether you liked it or not, and whether you wanted to hear it or not. He was definitely a straight shooter. Our community lost a good man a couple of months ago when Nate passed away, and I'd like to ask everybody here in attendance to join me in a moment of silence to honor Nate for his many years of service to not only the district, but the community as well. Thank you. I'd like to thank Mr. Button and the entire administrative team for yet another successful year here at Blue Ridge. To Mrs. Webster, Mrs. DeVincentis, and Mr. LaRusso, and the entire maintenance staff, on behalf of everyone here in attendance today, thank you for all of your efforts. And I am sure without a doubt, there was a lot of stress to put together this incredible and unforgettable day for all of our students here on stage, and of course, their families and friends. And to our educational staff, from our aides to our paraeducators, all the way up to our teachers. The students sitting before you here on stage could not have gotten here over the past 13 years without your dedication, knowledge, and guidance. More than anyone else, you, our educational staff, played the largest role in helping these young men and women reach this achievement in their life. So thank you. 2 days ago, June 6th, marked the 75th anniversary of D-Day. A generation of young men, 17, 18, 19, 20 years old, stormed the beaches of Normandy, France, not knowing if they'd make it home alive. Although they knew that they were facing certain death, these brave men answered a call of duty not for themselves or for glory, but for democracy and freedom, for Western civilization and a way of life. If it wasn't for the greatest generation and the 9,380 American men who died on that day and ensuing operations, our world would look vastly different than it does today. As I watched some of the television coverage of the ceremony and the speeches at the Normandy American Cemetery, I couldn't help but be in awe of the 40 or so men seated in the backdrop in the background of the stage. All in their mid to late 90s, these men exemplified a generation of Americans that put country, humbleness, and selflessness above all else. If you asked any of those men what it felt like to be an American hero, they'd tell you that they weren't heroes. They'd tell you that the men who never came home 75 years ago were the real heroes. Every year that I'm granted the honor to make a speech at our graduation ceremony, I make sure to acknowledge and salute the next generation of young men and women who answered that same call that the greatest generation answered 75 years ago. So with those of you on stage today who are joining the military or an ROTC program, please stand and be recognized along with that greatest generation. Come on, stand up. And I'd also like to do something a little different this year. I attended the SCCTC graduation the other night. And there's a man by the name of Mr. Tewksbury, who is a member of the Elk Lake Board and probably the longest serving board member in Pennsylvania history. I believe he's got 55 years. So at this time, I also wanted to acknowledge two men that graduated here from Blue Ridge back in the early 2000s. They're honored in the high school lobby. Their names are Lee Wiegand and Bill Evans. They paid the ultimate sacrifice, their lives, in defense of this country and its ideals of freedom and democracy. I'd like to ask if there are any members of the audience who are current members of the military or a veteran. Would you also please rise and be recognized for your service to our country, along with Lee and Bill? Thank you. To the class of 2019, congratulations on reaching this incredible milestone in your lives. To your parents and families of these young men and women, I also congratulate all of you as well, and you should know that your support and your guidance through these formative years has had a tremendous impact on their lives. I know that most of you on stage today are excited to get your hands on your diploma and run out into the world. But I caution you to stop, take a deep breath, and enjoy the summer months ahead with your friends one last time. As Mr. Button said 24 years ago, I was 16 years ago, where I sat in your very shoes, and I was ready to get moving on in the next journey of my life. I felt like elementary, middle, and high school took forever, and I wanted to be an adult and make my mark on the world. But little did I realize just how fast time goes by. And trust me, between you and me, you don't want to be an adult just yet. I'm going to let you in on a little secret, and your parents will probably agree. Adulting, as I like to call it, is all about bills. Mortgage payment, water bill, electrical bill, sewer bill, garbage bill, car payment, cell phone payment, insurance payment, credit card payment, grocery bill, student loan payment. And then the process starts all over the next month. So I encourage you all to take some time after graduation and have fun while you still can. Many people say that today is the day that you start your journey in life, but I don't think so. In fact, your journey started a long time ago. Today just happens to be the day that the road splits into an endless amount of unique paths. Graduation is one of those steps in life that defines a coming of age. The ending of one era of life as a student and one being shown the ropes, and moving on to a new stage in which you are the leader and the achiever in the world. I'm sure many of you have plans and have a good idea of what's coming next. Some of you have a pretty good idea of what you want to do next, and a dream and a lot of hope to get you there. And some of you are probably just amazed that you got to graduation, right? Well, the coming times will be exciting. They will be trying, but they will all be dependent on you and your determination. In just a few short months, most of you will be heading off to college or technical school, entering the workforce, or joining the United States military. You should know that life doesn't usually follow the plans that you lay out for yourself. You will all experience the highs and lows of life, the difficult and the easy. And unfortunately, there may sometimes be times of too many difficulties and just not enough smooth sailing. Your true success, though, will be defined by how you handle both of these times. As you graduate and take on new challenges, chances are you won't make $1 million at your first job. In fact, you might not even get your first or your second or your third job you interview for. You may never become a CEO of a Fortune 500 company in your life, but that's okay. The important thing is that you have already taken the initial steps needed to build a more promising future. Every class you've taken, every lab, and every essay written, they have all been preparing you to adapt to change and challenges. For those of you going to college, as I did, especially 8 a.m. classes and 6:30 to 9:15 classes for World History 1 and World History 2 are in your future. They were pretty rough times. But as you know, it's a tough world out there, and nothing will be handed to you. You have to earn it. And it will mean more to you because you earned it. You've worked hard, spending months learning new skill sets. Our complex and technical world today requires education and skills that were not needed in the past. Ultimately, your well-educated generation will benefit us all in the future. You are now armed with one of the most important tools needed to forge your path ahead. It's not the diploma itself that counts. It's about what you've learned along the way and what you do with the education that you've gotten in your journey to graduation today. Your future is in your hands, no one else's. I encourage each and every one of you to seize this opportunity. I wish you all the best of luck in your future endeavors. Thank you. At this time, Mrs. Webster, myself, and Mr. LaRusso will do the presentation of the diplomas.
Megan Marie Summer. Brock Hunter Gumar. Mary Victoria Kerr. Caleb Michael Folk. Samuel Joseph Cosmello III. Louis Angel Tobon. Daniel Patrick Tierney. Mackenzie May Lewis. Anna Mary Bonner. Ardeen Stello III. Alyssa Marie Johnson. Lauren Taylor Stepniak. Joshua James Goff. Danielle Louise Goff. Benjamin Vincent Gudikunst. Thomas Kelly Gudikunst. Carly Grace Gudikunst. Adam Thomas Rowe. Isabel Nicole Morris. Kimberly Marie Bryden. Haley Rose Tripp. Journey Grace Shell. Robert Guy Reynolds. Kira Joy Powell. Benjamin Matthew Burchell. William Joseph Rudick. Brandon Richard Gillette. Matthew John Glatzel. Jillian Estella McAuliffe. Devin Michael Bailey. Karis Catherine Fazzi. Natasha Lynn Johnson. Samuel Jacob Beasley. Alexander Thomas Carr. Parker Joseph Dissinger. Crystal Elaine Hepler. Ashley Mariah Mira. Ty Lee Decker. Todd Joseph Hand. Cassandra Aaliyah Clapper. Dylan Michael Gleason. Micah Mercedes Mullen. Jillian Sue Stone. Elizabeth Savannah Smith. Danielle Ruth DeLongo. Matthew Walter Baker. Andrew Cole Merrill. Nathaniel Lee MacArthur. William Joseph Clausen. Patrick Michael Brennan. Michael Lewis Kramer. Keith Wayne Evans. Jared Jason Francis Collins. Alec James Martin. John Michael Graves. Wesley Adrian Wojciechowski. Zachary Paul Hesse. Zachary Tanner Smith. Eric Ian Elrod Whiteman. Victor Allen Armandi.
Here we are, seniors. You have successfully completed your last year at Blue Ridge, and I have successfully completed my first year as principal. What we all have in common is the fact that we have all had to make choices to get us where we are today. As you move into the next phase of your lives, you will be making more and more choices. Some will be easy and some will be very difficult, but you need to remember it is always your choice to take the leap or to stay in your comfort zone. One of the most important lessons that you will learn as you continue on is the ability to decide if you are satisfied with your choices. It's a good question to self-reflect upon. Picture yourself next year and the year after and the year after, and don't stop. From this point on, you have the wheel, and with this newfound freedom comes choices. You may be in the driver's seat of life with your parents in the passenger seat to help navigate, but some of you are driving solo already. Both scenarios present their own challenges at this point in your life, but I am confident each one of you has developed the knowledge and experience necessary to persevere as the choices you need to make become increasingly difficult. Don't doubt your instincts and always use your best judgment if you know in the end the result will satisfy you. Just remember to be open to advice from those that support you. I believe that satisfaction is a huge component of happiness. If you choose to be happy and follow your passion, then you will ultimately find satisfaction within your life, even if it isn't what everyone thinks is best for you. My closing remarks is some advice that came to me as I was thinking about how I made some tough choices, such as determining at 18 which college or career would ensure I could live a happy, fulfilling life. Ask yourself, what does a satisfying life actually look like to me? Don't be afraid to ask yourself serious questions and then allow yourself to dream of the answers. Hold on to those dreams and let them guide you, but don't let them rule you. It's okay to make changes as you go, as your circumstances change, as long as it will advance you somehow. You have taught me lots my first year. I will never forget it. You are all wonderful individuals with immense potential. Go out into the world, be fierce but kind, and do great things. Congratulations to the class of 2019. Please join us for a reception in the gym.